I wish I listened to your show more often because we didn't realize the 2 shark deal would have been a disaster, and I'm glad, like, thank God we actually got just Daymond.
I wish I listened to your show more often.
Welcome to the Shark Tank Podcast. Each week, one of the best entrepreneurs from ABC's network smash hit Shark Tank teaches you how to swim with the sharks without being eaten alive. And now your host, serial entrepreneur, TJ Hale.
You don't wait for the party to come to you. Boring! You bring the party.
All right, Shark Tank fans, it's time for you to make sure that you are the life of the party. Sun-Staches has revolutionized the novelty eyewear market. Their outrageous and unique glasses will completely transform your face, instantly making you the most popular person in the room. I have proof because I have them on right now, and I'm Batman. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dave Levitch from Sun-Staches. How are you, Dave?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me on, TJ.
Does your wife let you wear Sun-Staches in bed? Like, do you ever, superhero it up before,
It's actually a requirement every single night, so I have to be somebody different every night. So yesterday was Batman also, so just happens to be that.
So you're like a superhero swinger?
I guess we'll call it that.
Which one's your favorite?
Actually, my driving glasses are smaller, like design of Batman. I drive with them every single day. They're UV 400. They're great glasses, and they retail at $8. So they're amazing. Wow. And those are my driving glasses. So I say they're my favorite, but I definitely have quite a bit that I wear on a daily basis.
Are they Polaroids like Batman's, in the Batman Superman movie, he's got Polaroid Sun-Staches on. They have that white glow. Do yours do that?
No, they're not polarized, but they're UV 400. So they, they're pretty damn good.
Well, hey, I just wanted to congratulate you on a job very well done. You guys have been one of the most successful entrepreneurs in at least Daymond's piggy bank, if not in Shark Tank history. Some big numbers came out of your update. But your product is fun. Like, I just got mine in the mail and my kids went absolutely ballistic. Like the Batman full face ones, they were fighting over them like crazy. So we had to take selfie pictures with all of them and they just thought they were so cool. And I thought, man, I can't wait to get my hands on the Ninja Turtle ones. Like, I could see myself buying hundreds of dollars worth of these things for every season of the year. Do you have crazy fans like me, or what's your re-up? With how many pairs does an average customer own of your product?
Well, actually, I'm going to kind of change the question because really what's happening is what you just received is very new. As of this last year, our only license was Ninja Turtles. So now, as of this year, we have Marvel, DC Comics, like Universal's Minions. The movie just came out. We sold a ton of them, and we're still selling them. We have Power Rangers, like from Hasbro. We have My Little Pony, Transformers, Pac-Man, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mega Man from Capcom, and we're closing Nintendo right now. I mean, we have a lot of properties. So we are actually seeing what you're saying. As of now, people are really seeing the value in our products. Some are actually collecting our products, which is amazing. We don't know, we don't have a number yet, but for the licensed Sun-Staches, we see people getting multiple units because they're daily wearers and they're party wearers. So we have kind of a different lines. So it's very cool.
Yeah. It's funny that I was chatting with my wife about this. I go, of all the people who've been successful in the Shark Tank, you look at what's happening right now, especially having a Marvel licensing deal where there's a new comic book movie that comes out every 3 months. And you get first dibs on the sunglasses. Like, it really is, the pipeline's pretty endless for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're really right now, it's kind of crazy. The pipeline is endless for us. We're opening major doors. I mean, we're fortunate to have like Daymond helping us, and have a fantastic sales team. Like we're building a bigger one, and the people who run our sales are amazing. But really, it's kind of doors are opening right now, especially with a unique product that's bringing incremental business to stores and to the licensees, because this doesn't exist before. We just created, we created this, and we have designers. We have 6 designers working full time, just creating more and more product. So for us, really, the doors are opening really quite a bit.
I see here, I'm looking at my Iron Man sunglasses you sent me, and it says you're in Chatsworth. Have you had a lot of interest from the porn industry to make like porn star Sun-Staches? That could get pretty
Not
gnarly.
really. I mean, I'm sure we will. We'll have interest, but I don't know if that's really up our alley. We kind of work, with. I mean, we're just we don't have kids products per se yet. Exactly like a kid's line with sizes, but we're definitely releasing our novelty sunglasses for kids as well right now. So I think we'll stay away from the porn industry.
Well, so I know it's off topic, but I was thinking. So I went to Chatsworth for the first time a couple years ago on a business call at one of the space and aeronautics companies there. I forget which one it was, but my buyer actually transgendered in between when I first contacted her and when I then met him when I got out there, and I learned a lot about Chatsworth that day. And she told me that you guys were the porn capital of the world. So that's the first thing I thought of when I saw Chatsworth.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of our neighbors, are different warehouses and porn studios, but we've been in Chatsworth for quite a while, and actually Chatsworth, it's an interesting little place. We're right across from like a trailer park. So, if you're ever in town, you want to stop by a Spamwich, let me know.
I do actually. No, it was a great little place though, man. They had like in Arizona, we have Papago Park and Camelback Mountain. Like they had some cool hiking trails and little boulders, and like this is pretty rocking place. So somewhere here though, there's some nasty stuff going on. I just don't know where it is. It's at Sun-Staches.
Definitely not with us, man. Not with us.
All right, so you guys went in the tank. You asked for $300,000 for 5%. It's a $6 million valuation. And I think if I were to sum up what happened there and what the takeaway is for entrepreneurs, it's all about valuation, establishing valuation and negotiating it, because pretty much that's all we saw from your segment. But before we talk about it, I want to kind of get back to how you guys started, the passion behind your business, and how you became an entrepreneur. I read about eBay. I read about you guys being high school friends, but your business really hasn't been existed that long as of the time you went in Shark Tank. And the year that you were there, you had done 5.7 million in sales. So something happened that we don't know anything about. So kind of take us through that a little bit.
Sure. So I'm going to give you a little background. Like, when we started, when I got out of high school, I pretty much started selling like fake bling, like hip hop jewelry on the internet. Later on, it was actually kind of early on, and I was on eBay, and I was selling quite a bit of it. So I needed my friends to help me. Dan was going to college in San Diego at the time. I asked him to help me out. He did remotely, and then whenever he got out of college, he ended up coming down and working full time. And helping with the bling business, and that was actually very good. I mean, we did very well with the bling business for the time being, and we ended up being first we started off as a retailer, and then we realized our wholesale suppliers couldn't supply us, and we're not making good enough product, so we actually became a wholesaler as well. We started importing product. We found good sourcing, and started selling it directly to consumers. And that kind of taught us about importing quite a bit, because you definitely go through a lot of headaches. When the economy started going downhill, and I believe like 2008, our consumers started losing their credit quite a bit, and our retail sales were suffering. So we just kind of scrambled to like, what do we do now? And what Dan did actually, which is a really cool story. I don't know if that aired on. I don't remember if it aired on Shark Tank or not, but he sent some like shutter shade glasses to Claire's samples, and they weren't interested in them particularly, and they were really, to us, we knew they're popular, and we were trying to really transition to a new business. And he told them, you pretty much have nothing to lose. I'll give you this, not even as consignment, as just take it, sell it. If you don't sell it, you don't owe me anything for it. If you sell it, guarantee me the reorders. And they basically said, and this was like quite a bit of quantity, and we took a pretty big risk. I mean, I think we sent them like something like 10, 20,000 units. I might be wrong on the number, but it was pretty significant.
Gutsiest move I ever saw.
Yeah, it was insane. And basically the buyer's like, I can't say no to this, like it's free inventory. I'll test it. So she tested it for free, and it sold through the roof. And after that, I believe like within a year and a half, we sold them over 1 million pieces of that product.
Wow.
So that opened up our relationship with Claire's, and it kind of solidified like we did quite a bit of sunglass business with them. So we got into sunglasses. We realized sunglasses was just really competitive, because a lot of people make very similar glasses and make just crap, and they're just bad quality glasses. And we didn't want to do that. So whenever we were working on a project, we created Sun-Staches, and the project was me and my designer. He was discussing, like, he's like, oh, mustaches are popular. I'm like, wait a minute, we also do some jewelry work. Why don't we put them on a chain and put a mustache? And he's like, he drew it up, and we looked at it like, this is going to be a great product. So we developed the first pair of Sun-Staches, which were just the basic sunglasses, like with a mustache that were like a custom mustache. And we did 3 different designs, showed it to our vendors, and they went crazy. And we sold a ton of them. So one of the orders that we got was from Party City, and we realized like we could be a really good novelty eyeglass supplier because we felt that the market was stale. So we started just designing novelty eyewear and incorporating, and a lot of them mustaches and some not, but we had the name Sun-Staches, and we stuck to that. So between Party City and Spencer's and Spirit Halloween and our customers and mom and pop business, and even companies like Joann's, we were pulling in quite a bit of business. So when we got on Shark Tank, we already had, we had everything except for majority of licenses. The only licenses we had at the time were some NCAA licenses for our Game Shades line, which is the football helmet, and sporting ones, and we had everything Nickelodeon, which is Ninja Turtles, SpongeBob, and Dora the Explorer, and we didn't even have Paw Patrol yet, which is a very interesting license we have currently.
So my kids watch Paw Patrol. What's interesting about that one as opposed to the other Nickelodeon brands?
It's just really hot right now. It's actually, I believe it's a Spin Master brand that Nickelodeon is repping or something similar to that. But Paw Patrol is really hot. We made Paw Patrol glasses for kids because I told you we're launching our kids line really this season.
Yeah.
In kids size and everything else. And we're getting huge response from that. And Paw Patrol is one of the leaders. Minions, Paw Patrol, and DC also is definitely, all these are moving very well.
Yeah, the kid market's got to be so hot because the only thing adults like dressing up more than kids is, well, probably dogs. Are you in the dog market yet? I've been on social media and people love to dress up their dogs.
Our products are always on dogs. I don't know why or how, but they do it. So we see that. We definitely see Sun-Staches on dogs.
Yeah, sadly I was only half joking, but all right. So now you've got a handful of licenses, and when you came into the Shark Tank, real quick question, just give me a quick answer. Did you audition or did they contact you?
We did an open casting call in Vegas.
Okay.
Randomly. We went to Vegas and did an open casting call.
Did you give everyone free glasses? Like, did you hook them all up with the pirate shades with the black lens on them, which is hilarious, by the way?
Thank you. No, not in line, but yeah, we definitely showed some samples to the producer, who ended up seeing our little 1-minute pitch. But that was it's a very interesting experience. Our entire open casting call was really cool. It was very interesting.
Give us a tidbit. I've got a lot of fans who have been to open casting calls this season. I'm sure they can relate. What happened?
Sure. You get in there, and from what we saw, this is in Vegas. We just went to a trade show, so we're just before heading home, we're like, oh, let's do this open casting call. We see people have spent a night in just waiting outside of the show, to be the first ones in line, right, to be seen. People don't, some people expect the sharks to be there. People don't really know what goes on in open casting calls. And some of these people who were in the front of the line were literally just there just to sell their space, which I remember ended up not going very well because some people bought those spaces and ended up losing those spaces because the cast said, like, you can't sell spaces. That's not what we do here. I'm sorry, the casting directors.
Right.
But yeah, that was the first case. And plus, like, people around us had really interesting products. Some like products that are just like, okay, this is not a product, but it is what it is. You want to try this out. And some had really fascinating products, that I'm like, wait, this could actually work out. But the biggest thing what we realized was you're there for a long time. It's a long day. We got there probably like at 8. And people were there from like the night before, and some people were there from 6, and we were like quite a bit back in the line, and we ended up being seen around 5 in the afternoon. So you're in line all day.
Was this
waiting,
back when they kept you in line, or was this when they did? Because now they break it out, right? They tell you to come back at a block time.
Sure, you're right. So the line was people got there early, so we were in line probably for like 3-4 hours beforehand, and got our numbers, and then came back. And you still have a process after you come back, because there's like a mini line, then you sit down, they were talking to you. So I mean, it's a long day regardless. It's still, even if you're, when we got our break, we went in audition and kind of like practiced our 1-minute pitch in front of like a lot of people, because there's just people all around. We wanted to make sure we had energy. And that's, in my opinion, the most important thing, because after a long day, you're not going to have any energy. And all the people that went in front of us, they were just like, hi, I have this solar thing or whatever. And it ended up helping us, because we came in there, we woke up the casting director, because he was just falling asleep from people having no energy.
Yeah. And
I think that is the most important thing for open casting calls. It's going to be a long day. Make sure you have your what's called infomercial voice going. You have to.
Billy Mays Hayes here. I'm selling cocaine. Who's buying? Yeah, it's got to be big.
It's that, exactly. I don't know about the cocaine, because you probably won't air then. But you definitely have to be big. I think it's very important. And I felt when we left, we got the vibe like, all right, he told us like, this is a long process. I felt like, all right, I think we're gonna make it to the next stage. And that was a good feeling, driving back from Vegas to Los Angeles,
So in the tank, licensing came up early, and I actually have an audio drop I want to play here so people kind of get a feel for where you started off, because obviously with the success you've had in licensing, it's easy to see that was the future. But at the time, I think it was Dan was just pitching, look, the future value is going to be based off of these ideas we have about who we can partner with. So I want to play this for you.
Daymond, put it on. Mark, you're going to transform into a leprechaun. Kevin, look over here. You look so ridiculous.
Mark, put yours on.
No, I don't think so. So, now we're also just got into licensing. So this is how we're gonna grow. We wanna grow to more licensing, Marvel, DC.
Dan, why do you need the money?
You don't need the money. You're bringing to my point. So I tried to get these licenses, right? And I got like, no, we're not interested.
Now, have you ever considered licensing your business to somebody who has all these properties already?
So this is where the idea of a strategic partner comes in. Right now, there's 2 major players in licensed sports, and both of them want to carry our line. But we know it's going to be extremely low margin if we go through them. If we have you as a partner and you say, hey, you know what? Let's put the money out. Let's get the license ourselves, way higher margins, then we can blow it up that way.
Why, if you feel that that's the value we add, why do you make us pay a premium for it?
Why are we paying you to help you?
Right.
I'll be frank with you, I don't think we're charging that much at a $6 million valuation, and with a growth strategy that I outlined, I do feel it's a fair value.
Nobody's going to pay you more than 5 times your cash flow for this. They just won't.
I feel like the answer was because all you got to do is make a phone call. Like, that's it. But it was pretty evident to me that was a strategy, is to figure out how to get the licensing deal you needed as quickly as possible. So you'd already been down that road. I think a lot of the entrepreneurs in the audience have felt that. You make the calls and nobody cares who you are. Nobody cares what you have. And if you get a shot, you pay through the nose for it. So how long had you been playing that game before you got in the Shark Tank?
The funny story for us was we actually had to cancel. We had a meeting with DC Comics that day of filming at the licensing show in Las Vegas.
Boo.
And that was our big chance to like potentially get a DC Comics license. And we had to call.
Could you tell them why? Because you're not supposed to tell anyone you're filming, but did you tell them? Like, this is why
Absolutely
we're not.
Absolutely not. No, we didn't tell them. We didn't tell them why. We just said, I'm sorry, we have to cancel this meeting. Can we reschedule? And we hope she reschedules with us. And I mean, we were very fortunate. They're very cool down there. They gave us another shot. They actually, before we even signed the deal with DC, they didn't know we were on Shark Tank. And this is, we saw them Dan saw them a couple of weeks later. Then we got a negotiation maybe a month or so. And then we told them when we were allowed to tell them, which is a week before we aired. So they didn't even know we were going to be on Shark Tank. But
that would have been tough, because I think people don't realize when when you're negotiating with the producers, they basically, when you come out to film, they're like, hey, leave these 2 months totally open just in case we call you. Yeah, sometimes there's pretty important things going on that you have to say no to, but that's probably the record for the biggest appointment cancellation so far that I've heard.
Yeah, that for us, it was definitely, it's like we just hope to get another chance because we don't have, we had Nickelodeon at the time, we had nothing else. But yes, it was all about licensing, and the answer couldn't. The thing is, once Kevin dropped that hammer, which is like you're worth 3 to 4 times or 5 times
5
your
times
at max. you don't have an answer for that, because what are you going to argue with him? No, I'm worth 10 times that. You can't. It's not an argument anymore. So you're kind of like, then you start working backwards. Now you become defensive. But it was absolutely licensing. We saw that from the start. I mean, the deal we were talking about where we negotiated our sports licensing deal has actually come in fruition. We're working with a great company called Rico. They're distributing our Game Shades products, which is football, basketball, so NBA, NFL, NCAA, NHL. It's through their license, and our brand's on it, and it's fantastic. It's already going to be in a lot of football stadiums. As I believe as of this year, assuming we hit all the ship dates, but we got all of it going. So what we said was true. We were negotiating with them, and we closed the deal, and we didn't tell them we were on Shark Tank. If we told them, we probably could have closed it earlier, but we didn't. And everything else we're doing is exactly what we're talking about, which is licensing. What people don't know about licensing, it's actually not as easy as, now you can stick your name on there. It's there. Basically, if you get a license, let's say for DC Comics, you have to first of all, you have to pay a minimum guarantee, which means you're guaranteeing them that you're not just going to sit on their license and not do anything with it. So you have to pay a significant amount of money. It could be $50, $75,000, $100,000 down. But they give you a couple of years to make that money back in the royalties that you'd pay them. So you have to be pretty sure you could actually do that. So you don't just go to every single licensor and say, oh yeah, I could do that, and not do anything with it. That's the first thing. Second of all, you have to be pretty organized in order to do it, because you have to submit products. They might tell you it doesn't look like Batman or Superman, or it doesn't work with your contract because you're not allowed to do what you're trying to do. And you come back, you go back and forth until you actually get the right product. Then you send them samples, and if the samples aren't right, you have to remake them. And if you have tooling costs, that's your problem. So you really have to be pretty prepared to do licensing. We're fortunate we already had some experience in it, but it's not a joke. Licensing is not something that anyone could just do. It's a lot of work, and it's very important, but it's very lucrative if it's done well and right.
A quick takeaway question: with your licensing deal, say with the Marvels, I mean, how much money would you say you had to flush trying to get the product right? You had some experience making Sun-Staches, custom Sun-Staches. Did you get it right the first time? Was it a process where, second, third, fourth run? How many times did you have to go back and adjust the mold or make tweaks or change the design? I mean, tell me about that a little bit.
Sure. We go back and forth with them. Marvel's been very good to us. I mean, as you saw, they're very strong. They're good. Paul Gitter was amazing. They're all, everybody's really good to us. And they actually, we submit product, they get back to us very quickly. So really, the only product we really had to remake from casting was the first two that we did, because we were rushing them, because we knew we were going to do an update and I wanted to have something. So we rushed them, and I felt we could sell that product. We just felt very strongly that this is not the product we want in the market. We felt we could do a better job, and we redid them all. So the stuff that aired, we ended up, even though Marvel said it's a good product and people were happy with it, we felt we could do better. So we redid them anyways. And some of these costs, to mold, and we have multiple molds on each one of these items. The majority of our items are, 3 to 5 molds. So sometimes each mold could be upwards of $1,500, $2,000. So It could be, you do 4 or 5 of them, it could be $5,000, $7,000 for one item. Just molding pieces. So
as the tank goes on, obviously we talked about in pregame, you I think you called the session a disaster. Did you know and we'll talk about why that was, but did you know after you got out of the tank that it was going to be disaster on TV, or was the edit worse than you expected? Because in truth, there were some disastrous elements, but you still got a pretty decent outcome.
I think they made us look pretty good relatively.
Oh, you think so? Yeah, mercy on you. I tell people, if you're worried about looking stupid, shake someone's hand, because they're going to do their best to make the shark not look stupid for doing a deal with you.
Right. Basically, I felt like we got a very favorable edit. I felt we did much worse. It wasn't doing much worse. Once Mark didn't want to put on the glasses, we were trying to negotiate with him, even though he wasn't that interested in the product in the first place. He didn't want to put him on, so we should have known better. But you're kind of hanging on for dear life. You want somebody to fight for your product. You want a couple sharks, and really the only person that was interested was Daymond. And hindsight, we got the right guy clearly, because
I agree.
him and his team are just incredible in every aspect of what we do. So
There was one point on the show when Daymond had made you an offer. I think the order of the offers went something like this. You didn't get any. Daymond gave you the $300K for 25%. And then you turned to Mark and said, well, Mark, will you do this? And Robert called you out for countering Daymond's offer back to Mark, who did not look interested at all in the product. So let me play the clip somewhere around there. Let's see what we got here.
Daymond, I really respect your offer, but $300,000 putting our company at $1.2 million when we're made $570,000 last year. We're on track to make $750 this
And
year.
you will be on track to make $20 million after that.
That valuation I just think is really low. Would you be willing maybe to go in with Mark for $300,000 for 12.5%? I really see the vision with the two of you. I think two sharks should be great. Mark with the sports.
Oh, I'm closing the book. I hate doing that. I hate when I have to close the book.
They always talk about how funny Daymond is. I thought that was actually pretty funny.
it was awesome
So
for everybody else other than us.
closing the book. Yeah, because Daymond's got that whole chopped liver thing going on. But it's funny that, doing what I do, I hear all the time, going back, if we'd done it differently, we've been more aware of, reading the tea leaves of which shark really wanted the deal. And then they also say, we wouldn't have fought hard to get a multi-shark deal because ultimately the negotiation becomes a real hassle. This just happened yesterday on an interview. They said, you know what, getting a second shark is what ruined our deal because they don't agree on anything once you shake hands. They don't agree on the vision of the product. They don't agree on the valuation. They don't agree on the market strategy. And I see it most often with ladies who want to add Lori to their deal. We're like, hey, is there any way you can work with Lori? And the shark's like, come on, let's just get the deal done. So looking at this, I looked at it and said, this is Daymond from step one, but it's clear you guys wanted Mark for the sports angle. Was that your angle going in?
Yeah, and plus, like, you want a guy who's like a billionaire, in general. Like that's what we kind of saw. Like, this guy's worth like what, $3-4 billion. We won't have a liquidity problem ever, if we have him as a partner. So I mean, we saw that as originally as what we were seeing. And we felt that he has the connections to get things done, but really we did not know like that really Daymond's the guy. Even the sports aspect, like we could have done more with Daymond. His licensing people are incredible. I mean, his staff is just like incredibly strong. I wish I listened to your show more often because we didn't realize the 2 shark deal would have been a disaster. And I'm glad, like, thank God we actually got just Daymond, because it could have fallen through and that could have been a problem. Our goal really was to get a shark. That's what it was. It wasn't to get in and just get exposure. We wanted a strategic partnership. We wanted some cash because we were going to do these. We knew about, minimum guarantees for these licenses. We didn't have $300,000, $400,000 sitting around waiting to give upfront money to somebody. You know, just we were utilizing our cash for inventory, for marketing, whatever else. So I agree. I'm from what I hear, also 2 shark deals are much more complicated.
I wish everyone listened to my show, but that's just personal preference. I had someone on recently who told me it was offline, but about a nightmare deal that they're doing. And I'm like, man, you could have saved yourself a lot of trouble if you spent $5 on my ebook, because it's right in there. Don't do this. And, they have a $5 million business, and they just, like you said, there's a right amount of studying that needs to go into the before and after. Some of it's Q&A, but some of it's just asking the right questions to people who've been there, done that. And speaking of, there's a clip in here that's not specifically related to your business, but it's hilarious now in light of current events. So it had to do with valuation and the sharks that weren't happy about it.
I really wish that there was a more reasonable value that you had on this business. Just like any great love affair, you've got to have some sense of reality to it. I'm out.
You know why that's funny, right?
Of course. Of course. He did the worst deal ever in the history of like pretty much anything with Mattel.
No. That's not even what I'm talking about. That was Robert, because he was having a love affair at the time.
Oh yeah.
It's like any great love affair, and now he's got a new girlfriend. So sorry, I couldn't help it.
No, but oh no, not him. I thought it was KevinO'Leary. I'm sorry.
No, that was Robert. That was this intentional Freudian slip.
Sure. Yeah, we didn't know obviously about that, but that's a new thing now. But I thought, it's funny because like that's, again, I'm going back to KevinO'Leary, but the thing is when he set our price at 5 times post-tax cash, to us, you're there, so you have to be respectful. But we know about the deal he did with Mattel, and his is like, what was it? Something crazy what was it? I believe it was like 12 or 15 times of next year's sales.
Yeah.
Something like that, to Mattel. And, a deal is based on what the other person's willing to pay for it. That's really what it is. So if he's going to tell me that we're worth 3 to 5 times to you, maybe, but realistically, that kind of I think that was the momentum that brought our valuation down. Because I felt when we went in there, we felt it was pretty reasonable for a business that sold $5.7 million to ask for a $6 million valuation, one times previous year sales. So I don't know. That's what I thought it was. That's why I'm even talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, when you say it does sound reasonable, but it's, of course, when they're going to nitpick to get the valuation down, you got to be ready for all angles. So I mean, yeah, you guys are banking almost $1 million that year. If you're going to strictly do it off after-tax net profits, it's a different game. But again, it made it interesting for sure. And after you finally did the deal, I don't have all the negotiation clips here, but I had the one you guys did in your post game, so I want to play that.
So even though we didn't get the valuation we were asking for, we got a shark, and he wants to blow up our business, and he said it himself, I'm going to make you $20 million, and we believe that. It's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to happen.
And then came your update.
Let's see what they're up to now.
What's up?
Hey, what's up?
Business has been amazing since partnering with Daymond.
It's been less than 5 months, and we've already sold $4.1 million.
Guys, this is Marvel. You ready?
Let's do it.
As soon as we did our deal, I called my friends at Marvel and secured a licensing deal for Sun-Staches.
Anyway, I'll link to that in the show, but here you guys are walking the halls of Marvel. Like, you're the eye candy, obviously, like we talked about. You're looking really good. And then
Clearly.
just, it's awesome. It's epic. And I thought to myself, $4 million in a couple months? It's no wonder the Sharks typically hold out to negotiate the deal right before the airing or right after, because it's ridiculous. And then all the negotiation scene kind of seems frivolous to me at that point.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, for us, it was a little bit different because we're primarily a wholesale company. So it's not, we did have pretty good retail sales after the airing, and every time we air, we get some retail sales. But primarily, we sell to stores. That's our business model. So actually, like in our opinion, next year is going to be the massive one for us because we're just gearing up for that. Majority of the large stores, they buy for consumer products, they buy a year out. So we're getting the purchase orders now for these stores, and just like, wow, some of this stuff could be really, really cool.
How long is your cycle? So the average PO you get from a big box retailer, when do you actually deliver product, and how long do you have to sell it through? What's the time frame?
We have, it matters. It matters what kind of product, if it's seasonal, if it's not. But majority of our products are ordered a year in advance for the actually being on the floor, and we have to ship about 3 months before that. So we really have pretty good lead time. And they some of this stuff just sits through. It's year round and it's reordered. Some of it is seasonal and gets pulled like right after holiday. If it's fourth quarter, it might be, goes into the stores by end of September, so it hits like Halloween and Christmas, and then just ends after that, But usually, we sell through the majority of our inventory. We don't have problems with that. It's pretty good. Our price points are right. Everything's under $10 typically, at the store level.
Yeah, very affordable. I went on the website to see what was available, and there's like nothing over $13, which is very cool, especially because I was wearing the Batman glasses. And if you buy cheap sunglasses, like if you do a whole Jeff Foxworthy, I got my cheapos, I'll never lose them, like even if I try. They usually are terrible as sunglasses. You just wear them because you're somewhere where you have to have sunglasses on, right? Either for fashion reasons or because you're at a pool and you're blinded as an adult. I just noticed that I crossed the threshold in the last year or two where if I go outside to a pool, like I can't see, like I have to have sunglasses on. I'm looking around going, yeah, I get it now. Like, I don't know what that's called, but
yeah, no, I'm that guy too.
That just happened like in the last year. I'm like, I can't see anything out here. I'm getting old. So tell me about, I had Proof on a while ago, and they make really high quality sunglasses. Well, at least they tell me they do. And I liked my pair a lot, but they told me a lot about how they had to learn the sunglass industry. Like how much, you're telling me you have a quality product. How long did it take you to figure out the solution of, look, we're buying sunglasses in China. Let's make sure that there's something that people actually wear and think, oh, okay, it's not a total piece of crap product.
Well, frankly, we're still learning all the time. It's not, we have, especially in our price point, we feel we have the best product out there no matter what. Even our regular sunglasses, because we do sell some of those as well. they're incredibly good. We have, we pass all the standards. We pass the Enzai tests and the draw ball tests. Our glasses, even our clear lens products are EV 400 now. So I mean, even if they're clear lens and they don't have any kind of prescription, but they don't have any kind of tint, they're still UV 400. They're all shadow resistant. So I mean, and the quality is very strong. They're not polarized. We don't do polarized glasses, because it's really polarized glasses to us is more if you're going, if those are your primary glasses, sunglasses that you go out fishing or whatever else.
That's Maui
with.
Jim's market. Leave it to them.
Right, exactly. But we have a product that really it delivers, in our opinion, the absolute best value to the consumer possible. That's our goal. That's really pretty much what we strive for every day and all the time. Even when we manufacture a product, and sometimes our licensors tell us, oh yeah, you could just do this, but we want to take it to the next step. We'll put a metal piece instead of just painting something on. We do all kinds of cool things to make our products either like function better or look better or both.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wearing the full face Batman ones as we speak, and I think they never explained in the Christian Bale series how he managed to fight 6 people at one time successfully. Like they never did clear that up, but I feel like I could do it because these things are pretty awesome.
Yeah, just don't try it, but yes, you can.
So let's talk. Let's spend a minute talking about scaling, and I want to ask you a question about your expectations of Shark Tank and what surprised you, if anything, about the experience. Like after you came out, what's advice you'd give to someone else going through, where you either got caught off guard by something you didn't expect, other than your post-tax profit issue, or something that would just be general advice from the experience?
It's just so many aspects. I mean, this could be like a 3-day show if necessary, but realistically, you have to manage your inventory. You have to be cautious about not having too much inventory whenever you air, because a lot of people, first of all, you don't know when you're going to air till 2 weeks before. So if you're domestic and you manufacture goods in the United States, it's fair, you might have an opportunity to get it. But if you're going from China, you don't know exactly. So you don't know till about 2 weeks before, sometimes even less, when you're going to air, and you want to have inventory so you could actually ship goods to people that buy it after its original airing. You just have to learn how to manage it correctly. For us, one of the things is, we had a factory we still do, that's not ours, but it's really concentrates only on our goods in China that does primarily our products. And they're overloaded. We weren't prepared. We thought their capacity was much higher. So we're actually going back to China again. And we do that quite often just to, meet with the factory, make sure they could manage our orders, because we are getting quite a bit of them. Liquidity is another issue. You need cash. It's not necessarily, people thought, I remember we were looking at people talking on different chats, saying on blogs, oh yeah, these guys did $5.7 million. They have a bunch of cash, but that's $5 million in sales. Our cost could be different on these products. We have different deals with different retailers. We have significant costs, in-house for designing, for manufacturing, for sales, for all kinds of things. So, I mean, you have to have, if you have a seasonal product, like we have a lot of holiday products, the product that Mark didn't want to wear, the leprechaun, sells for St. Patrick's Day. So you have to make sure you have money for those times to pay off the factories, to pay your salespeople. So that becomes a much crazier situation, and you don't want to keep on hitting up your shark. You don't want to call Daymond every week. Hey, Daymond, we need another $200,000 for a month because we're going to need that for this month, and then do that again and again. So our goal is really just to use cash from Daymond when we really, really need it. We don't want to be the guys calling him all the time for cash. So, managing cash flow is a big, big deal. Also, inventory control. Like right now, we're actually short on inventory. We wish we had it, because we have a bunch of orders that want, a bunch of people want our inventory, but we just can't really keep up with demand. So that's one of the issues.
I thought you were going to tell me the cash flow problem was because of Amazon Prime Day and what our wives did. Shopping all day long.
That's personal cash flow problems. That's not business cash flow problems, because my wife does not order inventory from my company account. But anyways, but yeah, I agree. Cash flow is a big deal. I think people really should, especially if you have a product that can sell in massive numbers, you should really have your cash, have lines of credit, and different avenues lined up.
So you don't seem to have the challenges as far as day-to-day business obstacles that a lot of the listeners and entrepreneurs, the hopefuls, do on the show. Whereas, they're looking for, they might be looking for capital, but really they have marketing issues. They're trying to figure out how to get more awareness of their product, how to get on store shelves. So in your Shark Tank experience, when the tsunami came and you were scaling, what are some of the things that were really critical for you aside from what you've already talked about? Like, what are any tools, anything that you learned regarding, what's working for marketing, what isn't working, where good money versus bad? What are some things you would advise people? Like, what's working for you right now? Do you even try to get the word out? Are you spending any money to get more exposure? Or are you just trying to control your inventory, supply and demand issues?
So our marketing is strictly free. We give inventory to like different events, a lot of charities. We don't really call charities marketing, but if there's some kind of a movie set and they want some glasses, we'll send it to them, assuming they're legitimate. But really, look, you're on Shark Tank and you're syndicated. You're gonna have. It matters for what kind of product you have, but Daymond loves our product and he shows it to a lot of people. You can't ask for better marketing than that. We don't really have, other than like a pay-per-click campaign and affiliate programs and whatever else for the retail site, we really don't spend much money on marketing. Our stores, every time we air, we have more retailers contacting us interested in our product. It's for us, I feel very strongly that our product kind of speaks for itself. Plus, we have very, very good salespeople. Again, they contact everybody necessary. Our head of sales, which is Dan and Annette, who run the sales, they've built an entire sales rep team and distribution team. So they're really the ones, that are doing kind of our retail marketing, for retailers. And people have heard about us. So when we contact somebody, they're like, "Oh yeah, we saw you on Shark Tank," or I've seen your product in stores, or my son has your product, which is very often. We also do a lot of sampling. So when we send in a product, we usually send, let's say somebody's interested in some, they show some sort of interest. We'll send them like 15 pairs. And even if they're not interested, we tell them, just give them out to the staff and don't send them back to us. Just give them out. It doesn't matter. And then we typically have somebody come back and say, you know what, once we gave them out to the staff, the CEO of the company loved them and he wants them. Or, somebody loved them and now it's going to a different department, but somebody's still buying them. So
the old Claire strategy, right? Still working for you.
Exactly. You got to just keep on doing it. It works.
I went to your Amazon page where we were talking and you 48 customer reviews. I would feel like the amount of business you're doing would be higher than that, but I guess you're not really focusing on the direct to retail as much as distribution, right?
Yeah. If you look at that listing, I believe it's like 1 or 2 items. we have hundreds.
Yeah.
So we really don't, some of that is not necessarily our listings. Some are, other people's listings. We don't really concentrate on Amazon. We don't really want to compete with our customers. So there's no point of that. That's just reality. So yeah, if we wanted to, we could have a very good Amazon strategy and sell a bunch of inventory, and that's not what we're really interested in right now.
Well, David, it's been a delight having you on. I love the product. I love the fact that you guys got your deal with Daymond and having some awesome licensing plays in place. And I think people who, I think the takeaway for people who listen to yours is the valuation is obviously key. I get a lot of questions about how to do it, but you never know what wrench the shark's going to throw at you. So I'm glad it worked out for you. And I'm curious, you talked about your sales for this year and next year really being huge. What are you projecting? What should we expect to see from you when you get on Beyond the Tank next season?
Well, we hope to get on Beyond the Tank. We haven't gone on that yet. So, but sales, we're estimating around $10 million this year. Hopefully we get that number, but yeah, we're estimating that next year. The goal is definitely closer to like 13.5. So, that's definitely what we're striving for. So we'll see if we could actually make it happen, but that's our estimate.
And last question is always about, when you have especially a less expensive product in the market, the rip-off artists, have you seen a lot of them come out of the woodworks and try to sabotage you? Or, what we're seeing now is a lot of people are setting up fake Kickstarter and Indiegogo pages. They're copying people's sales pages, or they're, bumping off their URLs. Sure. Do you get a lot of that?
Well, we actually have an IP management department, which is really somebody who manages our IP, because we actually have copyrights, trademarks, patents on a lot of our products. Pretty much every product that's generic to us has a copyright at least on it. So we police it very, very carefully. And anyone who's actually copied our products knows very well that we mean business. We filed lawsuits and we've done all kinds of things because we don't want people copying our designs. So yes, there's a lot. Last year, I believe we sent out over 230 cease and desist letters. That was, I believe, in the last year, actually. In the last year, we sent over 230 cease and desist letters. We have a person dedicated strictly to that. That's pretty much all he does.
Wow.
And that's actually my department. I handle the IP management.
You're the long arm of the law. I like it.
Well, you kind of have to. I mean, otherwise, it just cheapens your product. If there's a bunch of knockoffs in the market, then your product is, worth what they're worth, essentially, because people can't differentiate the two. That's the issue.
I'm bad, man. Well, David, we wish you a lot of luck. Are you willing to do a giveaway for the listeners? I know you're short on inventory.
Sure.
Can you spare some?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, we'll do that. I'll post the link in the notes whenever the podcast goes up and in the introduction. But I'd love to do that. I love mine. I'm going to wear them. I'm married now, so I mean, it's not going to be as crazy as it might have been in the old days. We're probably going to have to do couples sunglasses.
Sure.
But,
Yeah, we'll get you like a Batman and a Harley Quinn or something like that.
No, she's the Joker.
The Joker. Oh no.
But
that's trouble.
We'll stay in touch for you. We'll be vying for the Beyond the Tank appearance, and go get him, man. Good luck.
Thanks for having us on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for jumping in to the Shark Tank podcast. Please subscribe to the show on iTunes and head over to sharktankpodcast.net to get the show notes from each episode and join the free Shark Tank Insiders list. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook at Shark Tank Podcast and on Twitter at Shark Tank PDcast.
I'm a big fan of money. I like it. I use it. I have a little. I keep it in a jar on top of my refrigerator. I'd like to put more in that jar. That's where you come in.